Welcome back to Orange Nation, top 7 guitar songs of all time. Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze is number 2.
That's a good one.
Coming up on Q Sports Talk at the next commercial break, we're going to replay my blocked shot that hit Brian in the face.
It's just great. I'm very excited for this moment.
It's my first blocked shot ever.
It was still a goaltend. The ball was coming down.
Coach, I had my first blocked shot ever on a Nerf hoop, and I hit Brian in the face with a ball on accident. So.
A block
when
shot?
You're 5'6", you don't. Yeah, when you're 5'6", you don't get a lot of block shots, and I got one.
Nah,
Red,
man.
it was a goaltend. The ball was coming down, Red. It smacked me in the head.
Definitely had to be a goaltend. Come on, Paulie.
Yeah. I wasn't even the shooter. I was just sitting here like I'm an innocent bystander to this whole thing. It's no good.
Coach, what are your takeaways from the Duke game?
Obviously no moral victory, so I don't want to even start that. But I was, we turned the ball over too much. I thought we competed for the most part, but the turnovers, that was the largest amount of points people scored on us this whole season. And that's too many, 26 points on 17 turnovers. So that was just hard to overcome. So, I was very disappointed in that. I thought that was the difference in the game.
Red, I look back at, I guess it's the Duke game, but it's been the last bunch of games, really. Chris Bell and Justin Taylor, the threes have not been there for them, either going down or the opportunities. What's been the difference there of just trying to get these guys shots at this time of the year?
I think, when you talk about our team, I think people understand who guys that can really shoot the ball. So I think they do a really good job of trying to take that away, but that allows spacing for JJ, Judah, Quadia, and those guys and Malik as well to be able to kind of roam a little bit free. So I think we got to do a better job of when we pushing the ball, trying to get to some easy shots with the defense not being set up. It's always going to be difficult to get your guys that can really shoot the ball shots in the half-court set because the defenses are prepared to stop them.
Is Justin Taylor aggressive enough on the offensive end for you? Or would you like him to be more aggressive?
I think it's sometimes that he could take a couple of shots, but also Justin is he's a high IQ guy. He lets the kind of game come to him, but I think he's passed up on a couple that he can get, but it's not a lot. They guard him pretty tightly.
Red, you look back at last game, Malik Brown, a career game, 26 points. He'd never been past 20, so he blew past that and easily could have been a 30-point game. What was working right for Malik on the offensive end on Tuesday night?
I thought we did a good job of getting him the ball in scoring areas. I thought he did a good job of rolling and setting screens, and we had good spacing. That allowed him to kind of get some easy ones, not easy ones, but we found them. I thought our guards did a good job of recognizing when they switch. We got him on a couple of switches, high-low. So, but I thought overall he did a good job of setting screens and rolling to the basket.
Coach, what changed in the first half from the second half with guarding the three-point line? Was it just a matter of Filipowski was in the game and it spread the floor more, or was it on your defensive side?
It was turnovers. I think they got maybe 1 or 2. They were 8 for 8. I think out of those 8, probably 6 of them came in transition, like where we turned the ball over, threw a lob, it hits the rim, we can't get back, they throw it. We try to dribble through a gap. They pluck it. We got 3 guys below the foul line. They drive up and push. So a lot of it was our turnovers. It was self-inflicted. I think that's the most frustrating part is that if we can eliminate some of those turnovers and take away some of those threes, now you're talking about a different basketball game. So that was the frustrating thing about that.
How different, Red, were the turnovers in this game? Because, you guys are playing at a pace. You're going to turn the ball over some, but I don't think we've seen as many live ball turnovers, right, as we did Tuesday night. What do you think led to that, which obviously leads to the fast breaks the other way?
I think we had a couple of unlucky bounces, and some of the turnovers, we drove in where people were there already. They were in the gaps already, and we held on to the ball too long and instead of getting it out of our hands. So, those are the 2 things that kind of come to my mind right now. But I know we got a couple. I remember one in particular. We threw a lob, hits the side of the rim, backboard. It goes right into one of the players' hands, and like Benny's the last guy back, and the only play that he can make is try to deflect it, and they throw it ahead, and McCain just stops right on the dime 3. So we had a couple of those. I know we had a couple of unlucky bounces in that aspect, but that also is because maybe that shot wasn't the best shot we should have been taking at the time, so the floor wasn't balanced. So that's the stuff that we have to address moving forward.
If this is a dumb question, I'm going to blame it on the listeners because it was in the chat, but I'm intrigued by it. Would you ever put Naheem and Malik on the court at the same time?
I think it's going to be some games that we're going to have to. Again, I think the team that we have a lot of versatility in the front court, especially with the style where we play defensively. So we can mix things. There's going to be certain games. For example, I think Naheem's largest. The most he's played was against Gonzaga, right? They had a big guy that was down there in the post. He was physical, so we had to play him, and we had to play Monet. Again, the Georgetown game, even though that guy wasn't big, but he was around the rim. That's when you can use those guys, and that's where Naheem, can really kind of stay on the court. Again, we playing against Pittsburgh. They got 7-footers that are stepping out shooting threes. They're best three-point shooters, and they have really good guards. So they putting him into these situations, and it's tough for us. The one thing we try to do is try to keep ourselves out of rotation.
Adrian Autry is with us as he joins us every week at this time on Thursdays. And Red, we haven't got to talk to you on Thursday since the Pitt game as well. Not just the Duke game this week. That Pitt game feels like one that's going to stand up for you all year. What happened for you guys in the second half to really seize control of that game?
I thought we had a lot of composure. I thought we really dug down, and we made a couple of adjustments at halftime, and the guys battled. I mean, we went into the half down on the boards. I thought we rebounded the basketball. We got stops, and then we got out in transition, and we made some plays. But I thought the resiliency of the group that game was big. We were down 11. I mean, they had kind of control of it, and we slowly kind of kept chopping wood, and getting stops, and we got back into it.
Coach, you've got players on this team that wear their heart on the sleeve, and it's real visible on the court for you. Is that something you encourage or want, or is it something that you're like, hey, guys, let's how do you keep them under control?
I think it's something that I'm emotional as well. So I think, it's something that we can't let it take away from what we're doing. So, every now and then that may happen. But, you can be emotional. It's an emotional game. But it can't affect or impact what we're doing out there. And so I haven't really seen that as much as times that it does happen. But for the most part, we can't we got to keep those emotions in check and keep playing.
Take me through this week, Red. I'd say, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, I was just saying, it's nothing that I, encourage for sure. I think it's always when you can stay, in the moment and keep your emotions in check. I think it's always better. But it happens. That's passion. That happens in basketball.
But see, that's why I was asking the question. Don't you want guys that are that passionate about playing the game too, though? So, how do you draw? When do you decide what's good and what's not?
When it impacts, maybe you're not, you lose focus on what we're trying to do, and you get into your emotions and you kind of go off the rails, so to speak, of what our game plan is. That's when it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a fact. When you're losing focus on the next possession, then you got some issues out there.
Right.
Red, take me through this week. It's somewhat unusual. I guess it's going to hit one team in the league every year this way to have a weekend off in ACC play this early with still 17 games remaining. How do you handle this week with no game coming up this weekend?
I think it's a great time for us to kind of reset and get set going towards finishing up the end of the season. And these games are going to fly. So, we got to take this time right now to work on ourselves, work on things that we need to work on, which is good. So we just got to take advantage of that and trying to get better, working on us, on the offensive side of things and definitely continually improve defensively.
You got BC coming up on Wednesday. You were talking about big guys that could step out and shoot the three. They got one of those. Can you give us a little early scout report on BC?
I think this is probably one of their best teams that they've had in a long time. Very competitive. Post is probably, statistically is up as player of the year. Statistically, what he's doing, he's a big part of what they do. A big 7-foot guy that can post up, that can pass. They run offense to him. He can step out and shoot. So obviously that'd be a challenge. But I think all their guards have gotten better. They had a couple of injuries last year. Those guys have come back stronger and better. So they're just a much improved team on the offensive end for sure. In the past they've always been good defensively, but now that I think they have a good combination of both. And you can tell, I think they beat St. John's, who's a really good team. So they've had some good victories this year. But we got to be prepared for those guys when they come in here.
Yeah, just looking at Postrad, he's averaging 18 at 8, and he's shooting 47% from three.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's a pretty good season.
He's a big time talent.
So, Red, I look at this. You look at BC, you look at Pitt, you look at. I mean, it's way more than half of your schedule. It looks like this league is not top heavy. This league is not bottom heavy this year. How competitive is the ACC this year? And the middle of this league feels like it's a significant majority of what's going on this season.
I think this league from top to bottom is right there with all the other leagues this year, even though people don't talk about it like that. But I think our whole league is a little bit older and has gotten better. A lot of our league has returned a majority of their players from last year. And I think you see that uptake in, our non-conference record this year. And then obviously the way the games are going now.
Brian, I want to ask you, and on one note on a player on your team. He brought up Malik Brown earlier. We've seen him step out now a couple times and shoot the ball. Is that part of his game? And, how good could he be if he's able to knock down shots?
I mean, he's scoring 25, 26 without making a shot. He making one. I think that's the evolution of his game. I think when you think about bigs in today's game, you got to have bigs that are versatile. The guys that can, defend, pass, dribble, and shoot. And he can do all those. He checks the boxes on all those. And I think, his shooting is the one thing that's coming along. He makes them in practice. We're encouraging that. And the good thing about Malik is he won't force any. And I think when you got good shot selection, I think your percentages will reflect that. And that's what he does.
All right, Coach. Enjoy the time off with your team, and we'll talk to you again next week. Coach Autry joins us every Thursday, brought to you by Oswego County Mutual in Labatt.
All right, guys. Take care, man. Happy New Year to you guys, too, man.
Happy New Year, Coach.
You too, Red. Thank you.
All right, we come back. We'll wrap the show up, and during the break, I've put the burden on our producers to somehow replay my shot block that hit Brian in the face.
Hopefully it's a replay and not a recreation.
We can recreate it.
I know.
If you'd
well,
like.
I'm good. No, I'm good. One's
but
good.
We'll get actors to come in and do it.
Oh, then we can recreate all we'd like.
Okay, we only have two people. We have Mushmouth Mike and Jordan. Who would play you?
Who needs to be hit in the head the most?
Neither one of them can really take another shot to the dome.
Oh, boy.
But who would you like to have play you?
Who? Well, I mean, Mike. Well, Mike would have to play me in this scenario because
he's the height.
Well, because in the other scenario, he would have been taking the shot. He would be playing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so who's going to play? All right, here's a good question for you before we go to break. If you could have one person, like an actor, actually play you, who would play Brian Higgins?
Who would play? Somebody told me I looked like Steve Carell once. I don't actually believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, so him. I don't think I look like Steve Carell.
All right, but I don't know who would play me. Tom Cruise?
Yeah, sure.
Short, handsome, just like me.
Yeah, daring.
Urkel. Gary Coleman's not with us anymore. Emmanuel Lewis, could he play me?
Yeah.
We'll take a quick time
Okay,
out.
Google, who's the shortest actor?
Hervé Villachez, is he? No, he can't be alive still. He was the Deplane guy.
No way. He's probably alive. He's probably 90 and fine.
We'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we will wrap things up. And hopefully during the break, we'll get to see Brian get hit in the face again on ESPN Radio
Delightful.
Syracuse, Utica Rome, and QSportsTalk.com. Ooh, Danny DeVito. Good call.